Okay guys, we got this RV a few years ago, and when we first got it, we were not sure what order to set things up in. And for a long time, we were trying to figure out, and even now it can still be a little sketchy at times, especially if we haven't been in a while. So I'm gonna walk you through how we go about hooking the RV up to the truck in kind of the order that we do it, so you don't break anything while we do it. First thing you're gonna do is come over and put your steps up. As we start to move the camper up and down to get it hooked up to the truck, that can put a lot of pressure on the bottom of the steps. So if you have steps like these, go ahead and fold your steps up into the RV. All right, I was gonna show you the electric stabilizing jacks, which I'll get to in a second, but the travel trailer, the battery is dead on it because we haven't been going that many places lately. So I had to back the truck over here and hook the power cable up to the trailer, and then that will power the trailer so that I can put the jacks back up. We have these electric jacks on here. You can just push this rocker type switch that'll let it up and down. And now we want to go ahead and put both of those all the way up so that we can have the freedom to rotate the trailer about its axle and actually get the hitch on the truck. So we're going to raise this all the way up. Then I'm going to go do the same thing to the one in the front and raise that all the way up. Okay, we're up here at the hitch. As you can see, we keep this lock on here just when we're not around, and that would hopefully slow somebody down if they were trying to get away with my trailer, and I would have time to attend to them appropriately. I'm going to take that off. You may have a lock on this, or in our case, we just put a bolt through it to make sure it stays secure. Then take that off, rotate that up, slide it back, and now this is opened up so that your ball will fit inside. I went ahead and put the hitch on the truck, and I'm not quite lined up. I may have to pull up one more time to try to get it lined up. We've been lucky on this vehicle to have a backup camera inside, although the detail is not great, so I still end up having to kind of eyeball it. But I can see right now that the trailer is lower than the ball, so I'm going to go ahead and raise it up a little bit and make sure that it's above the ball, and then I'll back up under it. Before I back the truck up, I've raised this up, but I'm going to go ahead and disconnect now this power cable from the truck because I don't want to be moving the truck and potentially ripping out the power cable. Okay, we're back. We got the ball backed up under the hitch. Just going to make sure again that this is open, and we have raised that up and slid it back. I'm going to let the trailer down. What you'll find is that you don't have to be perfect every time. If you get close enough, usually the weight of the trailer is going to force itself down onto the ball of your hitch. Okay, it just went down on there. I'm going to stop what I'm doing for now, and I'm going to check this latch and see if it'll go forward. Sometimes you'll get lucky like that. If the truck's a little bit more forward, it'll slip on and kind of fall back into position. If you find that you've put this down on the ball and you can't get the latch to go back, you may need to go inside your tow vehicle and put it in drive and pull forward about 1 inch just to pull that ball up into the front part of your hitch here so that you can close this. Just be careful. Anytime somebody's in the tow vehicle moving around, be very careful if somebody else is back here messing with this hitch. We try to make sure that everybody's in sight when we're moving the tow vehicle, especially with the kids. Anytime we're setting up or working with this heavy weight, we just keep everybody away from the hitch while we're moving the vehicle. So I've got this on. I'm going to go ahead and put my bolt back through. Again, you may have a lock or something else. The important thing here is to have something so that your trailer cannot get back off of that ball. All right, once that is done, make sure that's good and tight. I'll check that again later. I'm going to go ahead and put the power cable back on. I usually pull it up out of the way here a little bit, and then I'm going to drop down to the chains. I usually cross the chains. I know there's some controversy about that. I like to cross mine. I also, you want to mount this breakaway cable somewhere it's not going to come loose. That way, what happens is if all this other stuff breaks away and this cable gets jerked, it activates an emergency braking system in the trailer so that hopefully it will stop or slow down and not injure other drivers. I usually go up through a bottom hole on here, and I go around to the other side, and I lock it with my chain. I'm not sure if that's the best way to do it. That's how I do it. I feel like that's fairly secure with the chain holding it on the other side. I think that would probably put enough pressure on it to throw the emergency brake system. But again, that's not necessarily from the factory. That's just how I do that. I'm gonna go ahead and get the tow bars out now, or the sway bars, and lay those where they go, and then I'll show you how to put those on. Okay, for the sway bars, they came with our travel trailer. It's an E2 round hitch sway bar. I think these are rated up to 10,000 pounds. Climb on this side so I can show you. To attach it, you can push it in usually, or you can pull out this little safety, and that will hold it in. Once that's done, simply take out this pin and put it in position, put your pin back in, and make sure it's locked. Sometimes, or most times I should say, it won't be that easy. One thing that I do to help get this bar up onto this bracket is I will use this electric winch of the trailer or electric jack. That's why I haven't taken this out yet, because occasionally I can start to jack this whole thing back up again, and it will help me line this bar up so that I can get it on a little bit easier. But there's also a tool that comes with that. I'll go get that tool and show it to you in case you need to use it. Okay, on this side I'm going to show you how to use this kind of a pry bar tool to put this on. I've taken the pin out. I'm going to put this side in first, pull out on this little tab and make sure that's seated. When I get around to here, what you may find is that it won't go on. It comes with this little tool, or this kit did, where you can set this sway bar inside, put that little hook inside the hole, and then it gives you enough leverage to kind of pick this up and slam it on there. There's a ton of force. Not in this scenario because the trailer is actually pretty level, but sometimes you'll find if the trailer is unlevel, there will be a ton of force required to do that. So super careful with your fingers. It's probably a grown-up job on that one. I'm gonna go ahead and put this pin in, and that's it for the sway bars. The next thing we're gonna do is, I'm gonna verify at this point that the steps are up, because sometimes my wife and kids will be moving around and packing up also. So I'm gonna double check the steps are up, and then I'm gonna start to lower this down. If you lower this down with your steps down and they get caught on something, it's probably gonna warp a hinge and break something. You don't wanna do that. All right, we're raising this electric jack up and basically putting all the weight on the trailer now. I like to bring it all the way to the top. One thing you'll notice is as it gets all the way to the top, it almost sounds like it gets stuck for a second. So I'll reverse it just momentarily because I don't want to get to my next site and then find out that there's a problem with it. Okay, yeah, momentary reversal just to make sure that it's not wedged up in there. And then I'm gonna adjust this front adjustable post here and get it as far away from the ground as possible. You don't want to leave that hanging down because sometimes you'll go through dips and stuff at the truck and trailer, turning into parking lots and whatnot, and you want that to be high enough that it won't catch on anything at all. And then of course I'll clean this up. Make sure you have some, this is a treated 6x6 post, and then in a couple little pieces of 2x6 that we carry with us. It works awesome and it helps extend that post up. Okay, next, one of our last steps here actually is getting the chocks out. These I were able to pull out. Sometimes you'll have to move your tow vehicle forward or backwards just a little bit if one of the chocks is jammed, and I'll show you the ones on the other side. Okay, the chocks we have on this side are actually leveling type chocks. They help us to level the trailer. I'll show you that in the next video. But to get off of these, I'm gonna actually have to put a little force on it and back up onto this. And once I do that, I will put the brakes on. I will give a good solid thumbs up signal to my helper, and which is an adult, and that person will come over and remove the smaller wedges on the chocks. And at that point, I can pull forward once I know they're clear, and we'll get the other chocks out. It's kind of a dangerous deal having somebody moving around with their hands anywhere near the wheels while somebody's in the tow vehicle. So a good safe practice might be just to move the vehicle slightly, put it in park, turn the vehicle off, come back here, do what you need to do, and then go back up again. That's a much safer option if you need to. Okay, this is just for reference here. When I'm about to back up on those kind of chocks, I'll come inside here and put this down into 4 low. Obviously I'll start the truck up, put it in neutral, and put my truck down into 4 low. But that is really going to help with backing up onto those type of wedge chocks and keep me from having to really use much power. By yourself, I pulled forward a little too far, and now these babies are stuck in there, so I'll just go back in the truck and back up just a hair. All right. I want to talk about the slide for a second. Our slide is not fully extended right now, but we kind of have a special procedure we do every time, no matter what, that keeps us from breaking things with the slide. So we've found out that if we extend the slide all the way out, this door, if we've left it open during setup or breakdown, can actually flop over and get stuck behind this rail of the slide. So if nobody's out here to see it, it can just get torn off, and that would be really a pain. There's also 2 doors inside the trailer that can also conflict with that, as well as the stairs from the kids' bunk beds. So we check all of those things. I'll show you inside the doors that goes to the master bedroom. It can actually flop over behind the slide as we're putting it out. So that's one of the things that we really try to make sure it's closed. Okay, this is the other thing I was talking about, the ladder that goes up to the top bunk. When we're stationary somewhere, the kids will always have this out and extended. The slide comes right through this area. So the very first time that we don't check this before we do it, it's going to torque that little piece of wood, and that winch mechanism is probably going to snap that ladder off. So want to check and make sure that your slide area is clear inside on both sides anytime before you do it. And that special procedure I was saying is, we always open this window and we have somebody inside at the panel that is working the slide in and out, and the other person will stand outside and visually inspect that area. We managed to not hit some things at several campsites because somebody was out there to stop the slide. Once it was super close to the hookups where we probably would have broke off some water connections. There's been multiple places with trees that we could have hit, and then of course the door on that back part with all the duty stuff in it could also get messed up. So just visibly check your slide area before you're going in and out with it. Final thing here, guys, before we leave, we've done everything, we think, but we got to check it just to make sure. I'm going to come here to the hitch. I'm going to make sure that we're completely hooked up to the trailer. We've got a pin in it. There's nothing down here that's going to snag on anything. Our chains are hooked up. Our sway bars are hooked up. It's like a final check all the way around, all right? I've got the stabilizers all the way up. I'm going to check these doors as I go around. I'll usually try to open it. It won't open. That means the other lock is good. We locked all those. The awning is in, the door is closed, and we locked the door. Also want to make sure this thing is pushed in. One time we had this thing flop down while we're going down the road. So not only do we lock this lock, but we will take our key and lock the other one just to kind of ensure it. Both of your tires are inflated and ready to go. The shower is locked up. This door is closed and locked. I don't want the door opening and the steps flopping out going down the road. Sometimes we have the bikes back here. This would be the time that I would check the bikes and make sure that they're stowed, the spare's not falling off. I can check and make sure that we are completely disconnected from water and power and anything else we've hooked up to. The duty door is closed and locked. The slide is all the way in. The tires are fully inflated and there's no chocks in. And lastly, is this door up here in the front. I would check to make sure that it is locked. There's no obstructions. Another idea, you might just get down low and kind of look under the camper. You would be surprised how many things we've caught on that last walk around to keep us from tearing something up or losing something, and we've still managed to find a way to lose things along the road. So hope this video has helped you. If it has, like the video for us, subscribe to the channel. We've already got some RV how-to videos on our channel. We're going to be putting up a few more, and that's all I got for you. So see ya.